God, that sounds awful. It seems like it's gonna be way too loud for how quiet I'm talking. Frankly, it's the only audio I could think to actually grab. I haven't streamed in so long. And you're right, Tim, right? It has been a very long time since I've streamed. I'm actually gonna look and see when my last stream was. Because it has been a while. I feel like it's probably been longer since my last stream than that last stream was from the one before that. Holy shit. Okay, so I streamed on February 5th, 2023, and then the stream after that, there were two streams in September of 2023, so that was February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, 7 months. September, October, November, December, January, February, March, April. Literally the same amount of time, 7 months. It really does not feel like it was that long ago, but I guess it was. I have been massively preoccupied with real life things because sometimes it's easy to forget that that stuff happens when you're chronically online. Mostly just with a lot of university stuff. Trying to get that succulent degree, I guess, particularly in political science and anthropology in my case. And 6 months. When was my last video upload? Was not that long ago. Oh, it was only like over a month ago. Never mind. It really does not seem like that far ago, that long ago. I have not been doing the greatest mentally, so this entire year so far has just kind of been whizzing by for me. Yeah, like the video about Snowpiercer being canceled, which is still factually correct, or was factually correct at the time. That was in November of last year. Wow. And then it was the New Year video on December 31st, and then the Snowpiercer Returns video when AMC picked it up, and that was on March 14th. I have two privated podcast video ones that I'm going to release. I'm going to have 7 total, and that's going to cover just a history topic. Um, History of the Pacific War. It's not going to be anything professional, it's more just as a project. And then I have a video on Snowpiercer, which is what we're all really here for. I have a video for Snowpiercer in the works, and it's going to be more on the political analysis of Snowpiercer and its messaging. And it is, in my view, the messaging of Snowpiercer is completely accidental. I don't, I genuinely don't believe that the showrunners really did anything that I picked up on purpose. Because they are not the most competent at storytelling. Yeah. Now that I know that season 4 is going to come in Q1 of 2025, I need to actually pick up on uh, watching the 3 original seasons, because believe it or not, I have actually not watched anything about not about Snowpiercer, but I have not watched anything from the Snowpiercer TV series since I basically did the train scenes video for season 3, and that was May 1st. Nope, that was not that. It was April 17th, 2022. So it has literally been 2 years since I've watched any Snowpiercer content. Kieran did a Comic-Con thing some weeks ago called Snowpiercer Con, where a lot of Snowpiercer fan and game devs came to show off their booths for the event. Yeah, I was informed about that by a lot of people. I didn't really have that much drive to show up or anything like that. It didn't seem like I was the kind of person that they were wanting to be there. And generally speaking, I generally don't really get that involved with other creators anymore. Since most Snowpiercer creators tend to do stuff in the Roblox community, I don't do anything in the Roblox community. And I don't really feel like I'm the kind of person that they want there. Which, I mean, is fine for me because I just don't want to deal with a lot of horse shit, I guess. So yeah, I wasn't really particularly interested. I mean, good for them, I guess. And I don't think Kieran and I have talked in a long time. I legitimately have no idea when the last time he and I talked about anything. Because I was gonna make a trailer for him. I was gonna voice over and edit a trailer for him. The one basically where it's sort of like a Fallout inspiration. I was pretty much gonna do that, and we were getting pretty well along on that, and then he just didn't really ever get back to me. I don't know if it was just because there's too much drama surrounding me or what, but he just wasn't interested in continuing the collaboration, and we never talked since. Well, that's not working. I can't get into Discord on the browser for some reason. Anyway, I guess I'm not finding out when the last time I spoke to Kieran was. I'm pretty sure it was like probably the summer of 2023, that long ago. I talk to the Avalon Tech occasionally, but not all that much. So yeah, as I was saying, I am making a video. Well, I'm making the podcast series on the Pacific War, and then I am making a more interesting video about the politics of Snowpiercer. And here is the thumbnail for that. I believe it is literally the first thumbnail I have ever made that does not have text and isn't a screenshot of some kind. So if you can't tell, it's going to be going into some of the communist rhetoric of Snowpiercer, but it's not what you think. I don't go into the video like this is the message that the showrunners are trying to put forward, because from what I've looked over, it's not. It is less of a show that is trying to like push communist messaging. It's more of a show that sort of accidentally stumbles its way into saying that both capitalism and communism suck. And the whole show, the whole gist of the video basically is that the Snowpiercer show, especially in the first season and a half, it's just a big allegory for the communist revolution in the Soviet Union. I'm not going to go much more into that because that would defeat the point of the video, but that's pretty much the gist of it. And yeah, it's not anything special. It's very colorful and it's got juxtaposition. That's pretty nice. Nothing, in my opinion, will really ever top the best thumbnail that I ever made, unfortunately. And I've been pretty adamant about what's my best thumbnail for a long time. Pretty much ever since I made it. Well, I said time, I started typing out time when that's not what I wanted. Alright, copy link. Yeah, I could look for the thumbnail on my computer, but that's just too much work. So I'm just gonna pirate my own thumbnail. YouTube thumbnail download. So I have the link, that's easy. I can see somewhat of the community as Snowpiercer following the path of communism in season 3 at least. What I mean by community, I mean the population of the show. Yeah. I get what you're saying. At the end of the day, in my view, I really don't know what direction they're gonna try and take the show in at all. Cause like, yeah, it may have been like 2 years ago, but I still remember the show pretty well. And all they have is really that like the cliffhanger bait, the sequel bait, and that's about it. It's just that rocket going up into the sky, and you got one group of people who aren't even on the Snowpiercer, so that's gonna be a pain in the ass. to really sit through, because it's not even going to be about Snowpiercer. And then you have the other half that is about Snowpiercer, and it's going to be about this new sort of faction of villains that never even heard of before, even though the whole show's villain is supposed to be Wilford. Chances are they probably just couldn't afford to cast Sean Bean in the fourth season, so they had to get rid of Wilford. But yeah, here is the best thumbnail that I ever made, easily, hands down. Excuse me. It is just so good. You got the text that's in two different colors. You got the text behind Wilford's head. You got Wilford taking up most of the shot. You got the watermark. I used to put the watermark on my thumbnails a lot more back then. And then you have the background, which is blurred out, but also still really colorful and juxtaposes really well with the other colors. You got the blue in the background, red for the name, green for the rest of the title, and then you have the human goldish orange colors of Sean Bean himself. Pretty great. And I made that all the way back in... When was this? I have no idea when this was. I'm pretty sure it was 2020. No, not 2020. 2022 when I made it. Yeah. No, it wasn't even 2022. It was July 24th, 2021. Holy shit. That thumbnail's almost 3 years old. Man, have I gone downhill from there in terms of quality. But, I mean, in terms of subscriber count, as is said in the title, I have not gone downhill whatsoever. As a matter of fact, we are at an all-time high of subscribers and have recently passed 3,000 subscribers. Even though the true story of Wilford based on the background of some outside, I did love the video since not a lot of creators go into the dissecting Wilford's life before. Yeah, the information in the true story of Joseph Wilford, all that information, I will still stand by to this day. I genuinely believe, and I will debate, that all the information and all the theories that I proposed in that lore video are essentially canonical in every way but name. However, the execution of that video was not very good. I've said that for about as long as I've said that the thumbnail is the best I've ever made. The voiceover is not of that high quality. The narration is pretty dull. I mean, granted, I've always had somewhat dull narration, unfortunately, just by nature of my very grating voice. But, oh, and not to mention that it was the entire video was just one still image, so there wasn't even any movement to the background. It was almost more like a podcast than anything else. Many times over the course of the past 3 years, I've considered and tried remaking the video, but I've just never really gotten around to it, because, I mean, one, I'm just not that, obsessed with my YouTube channel anymore, and two, what good would it actually provide? Because all the people that have seen it already pretty much know everything that the video has to say, right? And the whole point of the video is to provide information. It's a lore video. And so going through the effort, not only the effort of remaking the video, but going through the additional effort of remaking it better than what it was, just would not be worth it. Not only from the fact that it's not going to spread that much more information, but also from the fact that it's just not that popular of my videos. The true story of Mr. Wilford only really got like a few thousand videos, I believe, and less than 100 views within the past month. So, like, all the people that were interested have already watched it. There is no reason to go back and just remake it just to make it look better with a nice finish of paint. If I wanted to do that, I should have done that all those years ago. But yeah, still, in my opinion, even with all those flaws, the true story of Joseph Wilford is probably one of my best videos ever made. At least in terms of my own fulfillment, because, I mean, in terms of views, it didn't perform that well. Like, I don't even think it's in the top 30. Let's see if it's in the top 50. Yeah, it's in the top 50. But in terms of, like, views, it's all just my not creative stuff. It's just reposting scenes and putting music and whistles over things. Which, I mean, used to really frustrate me in the past, but honestly, I guess I've matured a little bit, and I don't really, associate my self-worth with the amount of views I get anymore. And it also comes down to the fact that you know, because I've let go of that personal attachment, I don't feel like that sort of denial that a lot of creators in the Snowpiercer community still have, in that they think that, oh, Snowpiercer will just keep on going forever, or they think that they'll be able to keep on doing what they're doing on and on and on for as long as they like, for as successful as they like, even after the show inevitably dries up. When that's just not how that works whatsoever. And for me, I don't really get that stressed out about it anymore because I just see it as, it was great. I played a really big part of the Snowpiercer community, probably one of the biggest, and I got, like, I don't know how many fucking views I've got in total. Yeah, 2.4 million views. That's pretty nice. I mean, it's not the biggest achievement I'm bound to ever get in my life, but it's still pretty great, and it was a nice hobby. And what makes it easier for me to just keep on doing videos and not just fall into despair is the fact that I'm not putting myself on a schedule anymore, and I'm just accepting I'm not gonna get, hundreds of thousands of views, and that's okay. A lot of Snowpiercer prompts in Season 4 are on eBay now, most of the prompts being stuff from the Peacekeepers used. Apparently the group of mercenaries we see in the teaser is called Animal Squad. Interesting. Yeah, I've seen a lot about props being auctioned off and whatnot. I know Kieran got like a lot of props. I haven't really had an interest in doing it because, one, I mean, if I were to spend money on props and stuff like that, I'd probably go for another franchise. Two, I don't really have that much money to spend on props. And then three, if I did get a prop for Snowpiercer, I would feel responsible for taking care of it and showing it off to all of you. And I'm not really all that keen on doing, like, live action stuff. I mean, if it was given to me for free, I would take it, but that's just not how the world works. What is that? Oh, just people leaving. Yeah. I have a Discord. I've had a Discord since, like, the beginning of doing a YouTube, but it's pretty much fucking dead. The community in general is just dying. Keeping the condition of the prop is going to be a pain, especially if it's out from the show. Yeah, yeah, it really will be, especially if it's not, you know, designed to be rugged, which chances are it might not be. Because, you gotta keep up appearances, and rugged doesn't always look the best. Okay, so what else am I gonna do? I've pretty much given all the, like, the news, the status updates, so that's pretty nice. Got the podcast upcoming, got the new video upcoming. In 2 weeks, once uni ends, I'll be able to do generally just more stuff and interact and engage with the community more. Should I install Frostpunk? I know, it's clickbait. I said maybe Frostpunk would be a thing in the thumbnail. I don't even have it installed. Oh no, I actually do have it installed. I'm fucking stupid. Anyway, the whole idea was the fact that Frostpunk is a really small game, and I could just install it within like 5 minutes. I'm not sure if I'm going to do that, though. I'm actually considering... Well, my options... I was thinking about basically just making a design for basically a new sort of US dollar design. Yeah, I know I repeated the word design twice. Well, I guess technically once. Because I didn't repeat it twice. That would be saying it 3 times. But yeah, I was gonna consider doing some graphic design on a new US dollar, but that's for another project, a part of my book stuff, and I don't want to make that all public and known until it's all done, so I can't do that. So maybe Frostpunk is what I should do. I don't know. Let's get rid of that. But yeah, I guess that's really all I have in the works. I've thrived away from using anything Snowpiercer related to since a lot of people are doing Snowpiercer stuff and the series is kind of dying. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't say that to be like all doom and gloom and stuff like that, but the series is objectively dying. The community is not in the position it used to be. And I feel like the people who are saying otherwise are just either too attached to a franchise when they really shouldn't be. You know, there's more to enjoy out there than Snowpiercer. Or they're somehow related to the content creation machine for Snowpiercer and they don't want to give that up. I mean, we're heading into the last season of Snowpiercer, a season that wasn't even guaranteed to actually happen at all. The Snowpiercer is gonna go into the off period. I mean, you look at the Snowpiercer film, and I mean, it's like, do you really think that the creators from those days are around now? Do you think that they survived the what was that 7 years without any Snowpiercer content? No. Honestly, I haven't even heard of a Snowpiercer content creator from the age of the film. Like, you have to put things in perspective and just understand that this was temporary. It was always temporary. I mean, I feel like I was one of the first people to get all paranoid and afraid of the fact that Snowpiercer was going to die one day. That was part of the reasons why I made the guild in the first place. But everyone said I was crazy. Everyone said, no, it won't happen like that. No, it won't happen that fast. And I mean, now here we are in the twilight hours of the Snowpiercer franchise. Last season to go. If anything, I feel better like something like a spin off series, maybe relating to Asha, the Peacekeepers, or maybe Big Al's, with the connection to Snowpiercer might be interesting. Yeah, I feel like the best option for Snowpiercer going forward, if we're gonna stay in the TV continuity, would be to do something before the show, because the future ain't looking good in terms of storytelling for Snowpiercer. And I would definitely be entertained by a Big Alice spinoff, but there's not a lot of characters to work with that, and Sean Bean is an expensive motherfucker to hire as an actor. Whereas it would be a lot easier to just, work on Snowpiercer for a prequel series. Because, I mean, you don't really have to get Jennifer Connelly in there for all that much other than for maybe a cameo Easter egg and a few voice lines. You don't need to get Daveed Diggs in there who plays Andre Layton at all because he's going to be, back in the tail for the whole time. And of course, Sean Bean's not on there because he's not on Snowpiercer. So you could probably make a prequel series for Snowpiercer on the train and not have it cost as much as it would have otherwise. But honestly, if there's a spin-off series, they really have to get a different team of writers on that, in my opinion. Oh man, whoever they're making write Snowpiercer, the goddamn interns at TNT, they picked the wrong writers, in my opinion. Because like it was great in season one with the world building and the storytelling, and then it all just kind of went downhill after that. And I mean, I've said this before. If I had the chance to rewrite Snowpiercer, I totally would. I feel like an animated Snowpiercer series, like how we see the animated for the beginning and end of the season, might be cool and cut down using high class actors. That is a really good idea. I like that. You are very smart for that one. Making it animated, 2D animated would be pretty great. I wouldn't want, it to be completely faithful to the sort of art style that's in the intro and outros for the seasons, because I mean that's really hard to distinguish any sort of detail, and it's a little too abstract. But I mean, an animated series as a concept wouldn't be that bad of an idea. I mean, especially in this day and age when people are finally starting to realize that animation isn't just for children. Who would have thought? And of course, when you do an animated series, you can hire voice actors that sound like the high rate actors, but you don't actually have to hire the high rate actors, and you don't have to worry about them not looking like the high rate actors because you can just animate how they look. Pretty great deal, if you ask me. Still would probably cost quite a bit of cash. Wonder where I put the numbers for that. Because yeah, I remember, or you say, yeah, that's so lazy. That's more than just lazy. I regard that as an existential crisis. Uh, yeah, I put the numbers for how much Snowpiercer likely made each season. And I remember getting into a lot of arguments with people in the comments over it getting canceled and like people trying to blame the 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 company for being woke, and so if they wanted to make more money and not go broke, then they should stop being woke. And it's like, well, if you want them to stop being woke, getting rid of Snowpiercer is the best option, because, Snowpiercer has mostly female main characters, the main good guy is black, the main bad guy is a white old guy who's rich. I mean, sounds pretty woke if you ask me. People like that don't actually think about anything that they say. Anyway, episode 1? I don't even know where I would have put those numbers at. I know I have them somewhere. But yeah, like, Snowpiercer, each season has made so little money, like, less and less money with each passing season. In the original debut of season 1, like, in total, for each episode, yeah, at the end of the day, it's just business for these companies, but it's all kind of scummy since fan games and fan shorts are made from the show itself. Yeah. So yeah, the first season on the live showing got about 12.4 million views for the entire season. Season 2 got 9 million, and season 3 got 6.5 million. So lower every single time. Total ad views, yada yada yada. I haven't touched these charts in a good long while, so pardon me if it takes a little bit more to figure. So that's the total ad views, yada yada yada. Okay, so okay, but why am I taking that weird ass number? Okay, so per 1,000 views, no, per view is about 20, about, no, not 20 cents, 0.2 cents, it's not 0.2 cents, it's about 2 cents, okay? Per ad view, it's about 2 cents to 4 cents. For the first season, there was about 373.5 million ad views. So that is about around 7.4 million, $7.5 million for the first season in terms of revenue, and $14.9 million for the first season. And then you apply that to the second season, and you apply that to the third season. Okay, why is that doing that? Anyway, so the third season of Snowpiercer might have made as little as $3.8 million on the initial showing. But it also was a mistake upon the company, since they would make more money if they released the show early, say maybe a year since after season 3 plans are still hooked compared to 3 or 4 years after. Well, I mean, the thing is that season 3 made so little money, and for those who don't know, TNT is pretty much owned by Warner Brothers. And Warner Brothers, if you don't know, is hemorrhaging a lot of money. They are not a company that is wanting to take risks. And Snowpiercer Season 4 is a gigantic risk. Like, let's just assume that it makes as much as season 3 did. That season 4 will make as much money as season 3 did on the high end, not the low end. That would be like $7.758 million. That's not a lot of money. And by that point, Snowpiercer, the TNT and Warner Brothers was already considering cutting Snowpiercer. So it's evident that Snowpiercer does not make money at around $7 million. Let's just go for the midway. Let's just say below $5 million. A Snowpiercer season will not make money. So if you're a company like Warner Brothers, you are not going to put up a show that is going to make less than $5 million a season. $5 million a pop. It's like there is no profitable scenario in which Warner Brothers makes enough to actually break even. There's no scenario where they can make money off of Snowpiercer season 4 other than if they sold it off to someone else who's willing to take it. Snowpiercer, whether it doesn't really matter how much we fans love Snowpiercer. Snowpiercer just by season 3 does not make enough money to break even for Warner Brothers, and Warner Brothers doesn't want to take that risk because they're gonna wind up folding in. And I mean, of course, you can call that, oh, that's just corporate scumminess. They're just being greedy and stuff like that. At the end of the day, if Warner Brothers starts, going bankrupt, if Warner Brothers starts to go under, that's not going to affect the big executives first. The people who are going to suffer first if Warner Brothers starts to go bankrupt and go under is the workers, is the producers, are the little guys who are supposed to be supporting and whatnot. So yeah, that was another argument that I got into a lot of in the comments on my Snowpiercer cancel video, was that they were like, oh, this is just TNT and Warner Brothers are being greedy and whatnot. And I'm like, dude, if you got what you wanted and you forced Snowpiercer, if you forced Warner Brothers into posting Snowpiercer season 4, you would be harming the workers, and you wouldn't be harming the big executives. You wouldn't be as much as of a pro worker capitalist anti-capitalist freedom fighter as you might want to think you are. Season 3 only had hype in the Snowpiercer community due to the illusion of Icebreaker appearing from TNT, false teases on Twitter. Yeah, I have the viewership numbers. Yet, the first episode of Season 3 got less than 1 million views. It got 963,000 views. I have videos that have gotten more views than the first episode of Season 3 did. No, I don't have more views than that. I almost have videos that have made more views than a Snowpiercer episode has. My entire channel has gained more views than some Snowpiercer episodes. Because the first Snowpiercer episode ever got about 2 million views on the first night. The last episode of Snowpiercer, Season 3, Episode 10, got 631,000 views. It's not a lot. That is really not a lot. How many views did the last episode of Game of Thrones get? Let's see. Oh my god, I hate that so much. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Yeah, the final episode of Game of Thrones got 19.3 million views. One of the worst Game of Thrones episodes got, 8 times more views than the most viewed Snowpiercer episode. Oh, actually, it's not even just the fact that it's a big corporation will only care if they make big money. It's the Warner Brothers isn't in a stage where it's caring about big money. Warner Brothers is in a stage where they need to stop hemorrhaging money or the entire company will collapse. Warner Brothers has really struggled to keep its holding in the media industry ever since 2022, not 2022, ever since the pandemic in 2020, when the lockdown hit and then all the streaming wars kicked off and yada yada yada. Warner Brothers has struggled ever since. to me, I mean, I'm very skeptical and distrusting of corporations as much as the next guy these days. But Warner Brothers isn't in this game for greed right now. They're in this game for survival. Still hoping we get some kind of icebreaker story in season 4, at least maybe some Futureland storyline. In my opinion, it's way too late to be starting big storylines and story tangents like that. I've been egging on and hoping for an icebreaker storyline ever since season 1. And I've done all my predictions. I've been shouting it from the mountaintops, but I've been wrong every time. I don't think that they're going to do an icebreaker. I don't think that they're going to do really much of anything from the comics, except for maybe bait us into thinking that they're going to do it. Like what they did with Asha, with how her helmet was designed. It's just all a big hype bait. Which almost makes me think that they were starting to go below the red by season 2. Because season 1 played it fair. It was a good story. They didn't lie to you. They didn't do any of that. Season 2 was not as good, but it was still not a scam of a story. Season 3 is where it changed. And so for them to have made that change in season 3, there must have been a change in the profitability of Snowpiercer by season 2. So it's a very good possibility that Snowpiercer needs what's the number between 10.8 million and 5.4 million? It needs like, I don't know, $7 million to break even. Yeah, Warner Brothers, like I said, I am not one to just outwardly, defend corporations and yada yada yada. But looking at this from a realistic perspective, Warner Brothers is not in a fiscal situation to be the big greedy bad guy. They're not like Disney for being ass just to be ass. Warner Brothers is cutting all these they cut hundreds of TV shows off their programs. And they're making all these movies just trying to not get bought by someone else. Warner, ever since the streaming wars kicked off, Warner Brothers has been a dying corporation. Which, I mean, kind of sucks because, they're like an icon of American media and Hollywood and whatnot, but, what can you do? Let me see, Warner Brothers stock. Actually, no, there's a website that pretty much has all information on corporations that are publicly traded. Warner Brothers Discovery. Oh yeah, I forgot they merged with Discovery. Oh, that's bad. Oh man, that was really bad. Well, I guess. Is there like? Well, I guess the stock price measurement only goes back as far as 2020. Do I have to look at an actual stock exchange for this? Warner Bros. Stock. Warner Bros. Discovery stock. You'd think you would figure that out for you. Okay, no, yeah, the stock just started. Okay, so I guess the history of the Warner Brothers stock has just completely vanished off the face of the earth, at least for ease of access. But yeah, in 2022, the company was valued at about $60 billion. Now it is worth about $17.7 billion. I mean, well, that's a nice big chunk of change, you might say, but that's still, what is that? That is 75% market cap loss. I mean, market cap doesn't mean anything, it's just stock prices. But yeah, in 2021, oh my god. In 2021, Warner Bros. Discovery lost $7 billion in earnings. They were running out of money, and they didn't actually make money in 2022 either. They lost money. So, since 2020, they have lost, I don't know, $9 billion, which is a lot of money. And they currently have only $3.78 billion in cash. So that means if they continue losing money like they did in 2022, Warner Bros. Discovery would be completely bankrupt by 2025. Not like, oh, we have to lay off workers, oh, we have to do this, that, and the other, we have to cut shows. No, they will be completely out of money. They would pretty much be forced to either completely close down Warner Brothers Discovery Corporation, or they would have to get someone to buy them. That's pretty much what I tried to explain in the whole Snowpiercer canceled video, is the fact this goes beyond just Snowpiercer. The Snowpiercer just happens to be owned and fielded out by a corporation that is just dying. It's not in a good position. Yeah, Warner Bros. Discovery is most likely going to be bought. That's just how it works in modern day corporate America. Everything's going to be bought. What it gets bought by? Honestly, who knows? I mean, Disney might be the obvious choice, but you know they're getting a little bit of heat from the trade commissions, and their stocks aren't doing very good. They might not be in the position to actually buy a corporation. I mean, granted, they could probably buy a lot of Warner Brothers Discovery. What is this market cap? $7.71 billion. Let's see how much money Disney has on hand. So about $18 billion they would need in order to buy Warner Bros. Discovery up. Cash on hand. And then Disney could afford buying a majority share of Warner Brothers, but they could not afford to actually buy Warner Brothers. Which really says a lot, because in 2020, Disney had $23 billion. Now they only have the $7 billion. Let's see here. Actually, there's a section for that. Ranking by categories. Entertainment. Let's see what the entertainment companies are. The big ones, you got Netflix. Netflix is the biggest entertainment company on the planet. I don't really see them buying Warner Brothers. They could buy Warner Brothers. I would not doubt it. Let's see how much cash they have on hand. Oh, they got about the same amount as Disney. Maybe Comcast would. They've bought a lot of shit and people don't even notice. No, they actually have less money. I mean, granted, this is assuming that the market cap price actually stays the same, because if Warner Brothers goes under, of course it's not going to be worth $7 billion. I'm guess Disney downhaul. When Disney kind of has shit shows, I'm guessing a decent release was Onward, but everything else they putting out was kind of trash. Yeah, Disney is not doing good and has not been doing good for a long time. I mean, granted, I'm not gonna be the kind of person to say, oh, Disney's gonna collapse anytime soon, because it doesn't really matter how much money and how much value Disney loses. Disney is just such a gigantic corporation that's going to take so long for them to bleed out at this rate. It's the same thing with Netflix. Netflix has been in decline for the past decade, but they're just such a gigantic corporation that doesn't even matter. Even after all of their supposed decline and decrepit nature, they still have more users than any other streaming platform. Which really just goes to show just how much of a colossus, a media colossus Netflix is. Yeah, Disney, compared to 2018, Disney is making half as much money as it used to. Anyway, that's all this to say that Snowpiercer is just another cog in the grand media industry machine, and it just so happens to be in a machine that's about to blow a gasket and explode. It's on a sinking ship, so there's no wonder it's getting thrown overboard when it doesn't make the money. Now, AMC... Let's see, AMC. AMC Entertainment or Networks? I don't even know. Just assume AMC Networks. Damn, this thing used to be worth a lot in the past, and now it's not even worth that much. That really goes to show how how little Snowpiercer is regarded as. Hello, Deku, UX, UXEX, UEXE. But yeah, I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Snowpiercer was sold to AMC Theaters. And it's probably going to get broadcast on AMC networks, but it's owned by AMC Theaters. Uh, AMC isn't even worth $1 billion. It makes a lot of money despite how little it's worth, actually. Well, I mean, in terms of revenue, at least. Yeah, that makes more sense now. Yeah. AMC has not made money since like 2018. I mean, in 2022, it made $18 million, but that's about it. Let's see how much cash on hand they have. Oh, excuse me. Oh, they have a lot of cash on hand, though, so I guess that's great. Do you think AMC will make any of their own Snowpiercer content, or will they just air season 4 and leave it there? I think, honestly, it depends. It depends on how much money it makes AMC. I mean, it sounds like a pretty gloomy and pessimistic thing to say, but honestly, that's just how it's gonna work. AMC is only gonna follow the rabbit as far as it'll lead him to gold. Is there an actual trailer for season 4? No, there is not a trailer for season 4 yet. At least not so far as I have heard. I feel like they might just do season 4, judging by season 3 performance. I don't think they might continue it. Yeah, Tim's right. Daniel Maxim, you just joined the stream, so there's some information that we've been discussing that you should probably know. Snowpiercer doesn't make a lot of money. Warner Brothers is dying, so they're throwing it overboard, and AMC picked it up. Snowpiercer was aired by TNT. TNT's owned in part by Warner Brothers, and so Snowpiercer is getting pawned off to AMC. Whether or not AMC continues depends on how much money they make. It's likely not going to, because Snowpiercer started to degrade in quality after season 2 when it made around $8 million. So, if the show doesn't make at least $8 million, then it won't break even. Was there a leaked trailer? Let me see. Snowpiercer season 4 trailer. There's just the teaser trailer is all, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, there's a TV leaks video on it, but it literally has nothing in it except for the season 1 trailer. Damn, there's a lot of my own videos on here. That's kind of crazy. Yeah, there's just TV leaks constantly just spamming videos saying Snowpiercer season 4 trailer coming soon. Like Velma, the show had shitty ratings, but due to people hate watching it, it has season 2. It's mainly relies on audience popularity in the show, in which Snowpiercer is sort of lacking. Oh, man, Velma was quite the phenomenon. What do you think Snowpiercer season 4 will be about? It's just gonna be about settling back into, normal life, and then there's gonna be the B plot where there's gonna be the people invading the train for some reason or another. Maybe they'll bring Wilford back. I doubt it, because Sean Bean's expensive as fuck. I mean, ultimately, I do think that they could end off Snowpiercer good. Season 4 could be good. I don't think Snowpiercer is so driven into the ground that they could not make a good season 4 and have it be the last season. I just think that what they've written up is not going to be that kind of season 4. I think what they've written, what they filmed, is not going to be good. They're just going to have this stupid new villain plot that makes no sense. They're going to have as little as Wilford as possible, even though he's the main villain. And somehow, some way, it'll just get sorted out and nothing will actually change. And it'll basically be a season where they could have ended it on season 3 and it would have been just fine. Oh my god. If there was a cliffhanger at season 4, I would actually be pissed. Like, I would actually blow a fuse. because that would be such a cliffhanger that I know would never get filled. Because, I mean, I could have lived with no season 4, if I'm being honest. Because the ending of season 3, I mean, sure, it's got the cliffhanger bait, but it could have ended right then and there, and the story would have been mostly resolved. With whatever cliffhanger they're going to have, if they have one, in season 4, it wouldn't be one that's resolvable. Sean Bean is on the cast, I think, for season 2, but due to budget for season 4, you might get the most you might get is flashback, and that's all I consider the budget for season 4. Yeah, pretty much. How much did Sean Bean get paid for Game of Thrones? Yeah, because you can look at how much he was paid for Game of Thrones, and he got paid $120,000 per episode. We can't possibly know how much it cost to make Snowpiercer, but he appeared in every single episode of season 2. So you times that by 10, and that's $1.2 million right there, just for one actor. And season 2 made about 5.4 to $10.8 million. So he's taking up anywhere from at least 10% of the budget to 20% of the entire budget. And Jennifer Connelly is, I would assume, pretty similarly expensive, and Daveed Diggs is probably 80% that cost. He's decently large too as an actor. So like, you have actors that are taking up like double-digit percentages of the entire but I mean, well, not budget, but like in the amount of money that they're making. And then you apply that to season 3, and Wilford appeared in like what? I don't know, maybe 10. Let's just assume 10. That's still $1.2 million. And then you take that, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, divided by that. If Snowpiercer season 3 made as little as $3.8 million, that would mean that Sean Bean consumed 30% of the entire profit margin of Snowpiercer season 3. Oh yeah, they completely abandoned Miles after season 1. But yeah, if Snowpiercer made the lower amount of money on the first night, of course we have to acknowledge that Snowpiercer makes more money than on the first night, obviously, because there's streaming and then there's watching it on reruns. But let's just assume that half of the money per episode is made on opening night. That would mean that Sean Bean took up 15 to 30% of the entire profit margin of Snowpiercer season 3. That's how expensive Sean Bean is. And so if you take that into account, it's suddenly not that hard to imagine Snowpiercer isn't making money. Of screen. Does Jennifer Connelly have in Top Gun? It's not going to tell me, is it? Which is my favorite season of Snowpiercer? Obviously, season 1. Just easily. Yeah. Well, I mean, Leighton in season 2 worked as a character. We can say all that we like about him as a character in season 2, in my opinion, but I think he failed as a character in season 3 because he just completely just did nonsensical things. Like, season 3 in general just didn't make that much sense. And then they're just introducing. Then I still can't. Oh my god. Jungle Piercer. Oh, I'm getting. I'm remembering it now. That was literally the worst episode of any TV show I've ever watched ever. The whole thing of the time travel flashback made no sense. Walmart Easter egg in season 4 for absolutely no reason. He tried to take a route which had a high chance of non-survival. Yeah, I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. I think a lot of the characters fail to be characters in season 3. I mean, just look at what they do with Bess and Audrey, just making them into lesbian lovers, because you got to keep that audience retention. Nothing will make men pay attention more than women kissing and scissoring. Yeah, there you go. I have no idea what the fuck that dream was about. I like to remember. I mean, season 3 was bad either way, but I like to remember season 3 without episode 8 or whatever it was. Yeah, it's just absolutely insane. Sid, the show was supposed to be like a semi-hard sci-fi, and then they just like, you know what, let's just splash a time travel mystical hallucination dream in there for a whole episode where there's not a single speck of snow in the entire episode, and there's no sign of any sort of cold because it's in the jungle and it's based on the Roaring Twenties esque horseshit. I mean, there's having Snowpiercer without the train, and then there's having Snowpiercer without any snow. Like, you have to be doing something wrong if your Snowpiercer episode doesn't have any snow in it, any snow or ice. It's crazy. I would love to do a watch party for Snowpiercer. That would be so great. Yeah, you got to keep the lesbian subplot. You know what they say, if there's one thing better than one chocolate bar, it's having two of them that are scissoring. If I were in charge of season 3, I would have it to where the world just refreezes over and they're all forced back onto Snowpiercer, and maybe Wilfred wins or gets redeemed. I remember watching, what was it, season 3? No, was it season 2? I think it was season 3. Where they pretty much like teased a Wilfred redemption arc, and that was so great. And then they just like, the episodes after is like, that? What? We didn't do that. Let's just completely ignore that and move on. Wilfred's the bad guy again. It's like, well, thanks. Yeah, oh, that's a way to put it. They definitely dropped the fucking ball on writing for season 3. Given the fact that Wilfred is on Snowpiercer, I would argue that the British are fucking frozen solid. And Wilfred is very much a British American train enthusiast. Yeah. Honestly, I feel like doing a Wilfred redemption arc would have been really bold. And I think it would have done the series a lot of favors. Because it would go completely against the whole idea of, oh, the old rich white man is the bad guy. And it would be even better if Leighton's degradation into essentially a villain wasn't on accident and they were doing it on purpose, and you get sort of the role reversal where the hero turns out to be the bad guy and the bad guy turns out to be the redeemed hero. They would never do that, of course, because that's not, that's not very politically kosher. But that's what I would have done. That would have been interesting to see Leighton go from basically a revolutionary freedom fighter to basically a tyrant, because that's literally what he became. The show portrayed him as another rich boy. More of an insane genius, yeah. They really tried to paint him as not knowing what he was doing a lot of the time, though. Is it me or Alexander? Not gonna read that one. But yeah, I mean, it's not like Wilford was fucking incompetent. He knew what he was doing. He literally knew how to do things better than anyone else on the train. Because like you had Wilford go into the engine when it was basically falling apart in season 2, and he knew how to fix pretty much everything, whereas Melanie had to like jerry rig stuff to continue working. And like I'm supposed to believe that Melanie and Wilford are intellectual equals. Bro is not cooking. When is the show supposed to happen? Um, the fourth season is supposed to come in the first quarter of 2025. So that's basically the first. What is that? I don't fucking know. 365 divided by 4. So within the first 100 days, first 90 days of 2025. And if you're that age, she's a little old for you. Yes, releasing in 2027. That's when it's coming. And the stream's been going on for an hour now. Wilford survives subplot. Well, an hour is usually how long my streams go for, I think. That's what I always say. It's probably not that. But that's what it feels like. So I'm probably gonna start wrapping it up here. This was fun and engaging. Got a whole 4 people watching. Pretty great. The British survived the freeze living in their house, so they're built for freezing weather sometimes. I feel like they should redo everything from the ground up and just follow the comics primarily. I don't know if I would like that, to be honest. I mean, I agree that they should redo everything from the ground up, but more in line with like the original season 1 Snowpiercer. I thought a season 1 Snowpiercer was pretty great. It was the perfect springboard to work off of. If I were to redo Snowpiercer, I would probably do a season 1 repeat, basically. Except probably extend the whole plot line out to maybe 2 seasons instead, where Wilfred returns at the end of season 2 and then instead of at the end of season 1. Just that way the world can be fleshed out more. But yeah, honestly, after season 3 and probably season 4 and a bit of season 2, it does seem like a redo is very much needed. But someday, I guess. They picked up this franchise once already. I'm sure they'll do it again in another 20 years. Well, maybe another 7 years, because that's how long it took for them to go from the movie to the TV show. Granted, I'm pretty sure, yeah, the TV show was actually 5 years after the movie, because they started working on the show in 2018, I believe, and then they released it in 2020. But yeah, thank you all so much for joining me. It's been very nice, very fun. A video game would be fun if it's like Frostpunk. Yeah. Thank you so much for listening and joining. I hope you have a nice, pleasant day. Thank you for attending the news and taking it to heart, hopefully. And I shall probably have you hear from me in the next Snowpiercer video coming out within, like, at least the next 2 to 3 weeks. Sounds like a long time, but for me, that's basically a blink away.